映画鑑賞。
映画鑑賞?
You finished the entire season and a whole day has gone by. It's no surprise that everyone's doing it. Sites like Netflix and Hulu are practically designed for you to indulge in entire seasons at a time, so binge watching has never been easier. Gone are the days when you had to wait an entire week for the next episode.
Hello everyone, my name is Nurizzati Aliah, and in this video I will be talking about an article that I have read recently, which is Binge Watching: Why Are College Students Glued to Their Screens? This article is written by Veda Anita Dandamudi and Anuradha Satyasilan. I will be explaining what binge watching is and what enables this behavior among college students. The main message in the article is the impacts of heavy television use and binge watching. But before that, here is the short analysis of this article. First of all, the authors targeting this article to the public audience. Apart from that, the writing style is simple since the targeted audience is the public. There are no jargons used, which makes it easier to understand and is accessible by everyone. Last but not least is the tone. The authors use formal and academic tone in their writing. My actual purpose of doing this video is to explain to you why you should decrease the amount of time you spend on your screen, as it can affect you negatively in various ways. I found this topic quite interesting because it is related to our daily lives, especially college students, including myself. So if you are interested to know about the impacts, then stay tuned until the end of this video. We all agree that we spend our time on screens almost every day, especially with our smartphones, as it is the most convenient technology we have now. Technology has become a huge part of our life, and honestly, I cannot imagine my life without it. All of us have our own smartphones, and while observing my family and friends, I noticed that most of them sometimes use their smartphones to watch movies, dramas, or television programs, especially during the weekend. Hearing this, you yourself might also use your smartphones for the same purposes as them. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Firstly, may I ask, how long do you spend your time watching your current favorite series? How many episodes do you watch in a day or in a week? How many television shows have you watched last month? Have you ever thought about these questions? I sometimes think about them and then I realize wow, I spend so much time on my laptop screen. There's this one time where I spent almost half of my day watching a series and I did not even realize that it was already evening. And this is what we call binge watching. So what is binge watching? Are you familiar with the term? Binge watching is the practice of sequentially viewing a large number of television shows for prolonged periods of time, where viewers tend to watch multiple episodes of the same series. This behavior is frequently engaged among young adults, especially college students. After I have read the article thoroughly, I found that there are some factors that motivate these college students to engage in the behavior of binge watching. Some of the factors are boredom, stress, loneliness, social engagement, and addiction deriving from habit. There are also impacts or consequences that are caused by this behavior, which is associated with physical health, mental health, social interaction, and academics among college students. Throughout the year of being college students, we are accounted for various academic obligations, with most of the day spent attending classes from Monday to Friday, from morning until evening. However, it is also noted that students spend an average of 40 hours a week on social and leisure activities. And to be specific, students engage in two types of leisure activities. The first type of leisure that students partake is serious leisure. For instance, they engage in activities such as volunteering and amateur sports. This type of leisure requires a long-term commitment and helps in skill development. On the other hand, students also engage in activities that require little to no skill, which is known as casual leisure. Examples for casual leisure are socializing and watching television. As we all know, we are currently living in a technocratic world. Therefore, it is unsurprising that the casual leisure time is spent with us being occupied with the use of technology. Today's generation is named as Generation X. This generation is known for being more digitally active compared to previous generation, where they use various forms of electronic media. In addition, majority of college students spend an average of 1 to 2 hours a day by engaging in residual leisure activity like watching television on a regular basis, either every day or almost every day. Nowadays, shows can be watched on online streaming sites such as Netflix, Hotstar, and Amazon Prime. I am certain that you are familiar with Netflix, since it is a very popular site and is used around the world for us to stream movies or watch any shows, right? Apart from these online streaming sites, we are also able to download the shows illegally on torrents. According to metrics in the article, such programs make it easier for us to access the entire season all at once with the benefit of no advertisement. It has come to my attention that with these sites or programs, they have contributed to the development of a new television consumption known as binge watching, which has become a common habit among college students and young adults. There are a plethora of factors that contribute to the heavy use of television. Now, we are going to look into what enables binge watching behavior one by one. First of all is boredom. College students engage in binge watching out of boredom. Heavy television watchers are noted for being easily bored. Thus, they use television as a way to fill time when they have nothing else to do at the moment. Similarly to college students, as stated by Devasa Gayam in the article, saying that the major reason behind their binge watching in the summer before the academic year began is specifically because of boredom. Besides, television is also used to relieve stress, and it has relaxing effects. The viewers feel relaxed while watching television. Hence, the students' motive behind binge watching is to reduce their stress, as it has been consistently found that they face myriad of stressors. We have good and bad days, and I am sure of students to binge watching as an opportunity for them to escape the reality that is stressful and unpleasant for them. They wanted to leave the unsatisfying circumstances such as examination, peer pressure, studying, and uncertainties regarding their future by watching television programs. What I would like to add to this point is, whenever we feel stressed, we tend to find something else that can help to distract us, and one of the ways to cope with stress is by watching television. Other than that, college students binge watching because of loneliness. It is undeniable that the life of a college student is quite challenging. Students face various kinds of challenges, including interpersonal difficulties and loneliness. As a result, they choose to watch television in order to satisfy their social interaction needs. The viewers develop imagined friendships with the character, where as if they have a special connection with them. This is known as parasocial relationships, or PSR. Right now, you probably just realized that you might have or had this kind of relationship with your favorite character before. When students have PSRs, the characters somehow provide them with a sense of belonging. For this reason, the college students tend to turn to their favorite TV shows whenever they feel lonely, as it is able to reduce such feelings. Additionally, if the PS are involving with their favorite characters, the viewing hours will get increased because the college students want to spend time with their favorite characters. Furthermore, binge watching can enable and enhance the college students' interaction in peer groups where they can participate in social conversation. This motivates them to increase the amount of time spent on watching television shows so that they are able to talk to their friends about the TV shows that they are viewing. Have you ever heard of FOMO before? The phrase FOMO stands for the fear of missing out. The college students have the fear of being excluded from cultural conversation if they have not seen a particular program. That is why they binge watching, so that they can catch up to the current narrative in order to be able to join the cultural conversation. Last but not least is habit and addiction. Binge watching has become viewers' habitual activity as it is integrated into their daily lives as a cultural practice. Deva Sagayam stated in the article that 60% of binge watchers reported to be feeling addicted to television shows that they watch. You might be wondering, how do students get addicted to watching television shows? Students who feel nervous or anxious after binge watching for a significant amount of time will have a higher propensity of continuing to engage in this behavior. If students find solace while binge watching, then it is highly likely for them to escalate their escape from reality and further their addiction. When they are psychologically invested and view with focused concentration, they will have a distorted sense of time. I'm sure that you have experienced this before, where you did not realize that you have spent a certain amount of time from binge watching. Television addiction can increase the urges to continue viewing and inability to stop the behavior, which leads to watching longer than intended. That is all for behind the scenes of what enables binge watching behavior. Now, let's move on to the impacts of heavy television use and binge watching. It is true that binge watching behavior can help to satisfy various gratifications. However, it does more harm than good. Why is that? It is because this behavior has the potential of being an overindulgent and addictive behavior. Here are 5 aspects that can be affected by binge watching. The first aspect is physical health. High exposure to television is associated with physical inactivity among adults, especially for female college students whose physical exercise is negatively correlated with television viewing. Binge watching can harm you in ways that you may not expect. Consistent research findings that prolonged television exposure can increase the risk of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. This is because heavy television use can impact our eating patterns. Viewers tend to adjust their eating habits according to their television viewing habits. Television viewers among adults tend to consume more high-calorie snacks, fast foods, soft drinks, alcohol, and less nutritious foods such as fruits and vegetables. In fact, The more they watch television, the more time for them to eat snacks and consume drinks. The time spent with watching television has been associated with obesity in those adults that watch more than 2 hours a day. What is more, binge watching is also associated with sleep disturbances, lack of sleep, and alteration in melatonin levels. All of these affect the viewer's sleeping patterns. The second aspect is psychological consequences. Prolonged periods of time watching television has ramifications pertaining to cognition, emotion, and mental health. Effects on cognitive, including deficits in concentration and attention span. The viewers will have a lower level of alertness, and they may face with difficulties in concentrating compared to before they began binge watching. Worse cognitive functioning in midlife of a person is associated with high level of television consumption during early adulthood. Heavy television viewers also experience emotional consequences. It is reported that binge watchers have the feelings of emptiness after finishing a season or a show of a series. It is because they underwent a parasocial breakups with the characters that they had PSRs with when the character has taken off the show or the show itself has ended. This leads them to depression and loneliness. Aside from those two, binge watching is also associated with anxiety and fatigue. These heavy viewers tend to feel less satisfied with their life compared to the light viewers or non-viewers of the shows. The third aspect is academics. Heavy television consumption has an impact on college students' academics. For instance, it can negatively affect their grade point average as well as academic confidence, particularly among female college students. Jacobson and Forster mentioned in the article that it is common for college students to multitask by using electronic media while engaging in academic work. However, this habit serves as a distraction which affects students' performance in studies. Other than serving as a distraction, watching television can also displace the time that they should be spent on other activities such as academic and recreational reading among college students. The last two aspects are social life and addiction. Little did we know that binge watching has effects on our long-term social skills. Instead of socializing, these college students decide to just stay at home or at the hostel to binge watch. The time college students spend on watching television could have been spent with their friends, going out, or doing social-oriented activities. As for addiction, television addiction impacting relationship maintenance, jeopardizing functions at home or at work, reducing time spent with colleagues and friends. As a result, the heavy viewers among college students feel guilty and dissatisfied about not having spent that time doing productive activities, work, or recreational activities. They tend to be dependent on binge watching in order to cope with reality. In short, the article is about binge watching, what motivates the behavior, and the impacts of heavy television use. Watching television is a popular leisure among college students. The authors believe that the major reason for binge watching behavior is because of boredom. It is said that the college students binge watching when they feel like they have nothing else to do. Besides, the authors mention that watching television is also used as a form of relaxation where the students can release their stress. Another reason for binge watching that the authors found is loneliness. The college students binge watch to seek the sense of belonging. Not only that, television shows can be the topic for the college students to talk with their friends. Last but not least, the authors believe that it is already becoming the students' habit to binge watch, which may lead to addiction. As far as I am concerned, I would like to say that binge watching is bad for college students as it gives negative impacts on student viewers from different aspects, including their physical health, mental health, academics, social life, and addiction. Therefore, I agree with the article has stated. There is a possibility that these students may suffer from cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes at an early age. Binge watching causes students to be physically inactive and living unhealthy life, as television viewers tend to consume unhealthy food such as snacks, fast food, soft drinks, or any less nutritious food. Moreover, it is also bad since it has psychological consequences. The students can lose concentration and their attention span will get shorter or lesser. In addition, their mental health will be affected, where these students may experience loneliness, depression, anxiety, and fatigue. College students should not be multitasking, especially when they are doing academic work. Students should be responsible with the academic by paying full attention and not letting themselves from getting distracted easily. I cannot deny the fact that binge watching is fun. However, the time can be spent on activities like socializing and going out with friends. I would like to repeat that binge watching can lead to addiction. So in order to prevent this from happening in the future or anytime sooner, college students should know how to control their screen time. For instance, they can prepare a journal or a diary where they track their screen time. Another better way is to use an application that can help to remind them that they have exceeded the time limit. It is important for college students to be aware of these such harmful consequences. They can try doing activities that are not related to television viewing, such as reading books. For all impacts presented in the article, it is safe to say that binge watching is bad and harmful for viewers, especially among college students. We have reached the end of the video. I hope that all of you can consider to decrease the amount of time you spend on watching television to avoid from any of these consequences. There are a lot of other beneficial activities that you can do instead of just watching television and be a couch potato. Thank you so much for watching. That is all for this time. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!